Today is June the 2nd, 2022. Just a normal Toastmasters meeting. But it just so happens it coincides with the chartering of this club some 30 years ago. Now we can reminisce about all those things and all the things that happened with Chamber Toastmasters, but it got me thinking about what other things happened in life and in the world in that 30, 40 years. And after I went down the list, and there were a lot of things on the list, I came up with 4, not 3, but 4 things, events that I thought kind of paralleled this time with Toastmasters. The first thing was in the late 80s, was the internet. Now, what a strange thing that was for those who preceded the internet, because it changed everything. I like to think of it as the death sound for the Encyclopedia Britannica, because at that point in time, the Encyclopedia Britannica, the encyclopedias as we know it, had no relevancy. They were nothing more than doorstops. And that's what happened to most of that stuff. But it changed how we viewed information. Prior to that, and if you go back to medieval days, and I don't go back quite that far, but your status in life was determined by the number of books you had, because if you had books, you had the money to buy them, and books were very rare. The internet changed all of that. About 10 years later, another thing happened that kind of fed off the internet, and that was the smartphone. Not the BlackBerry, not the flip phone, but the smartphone. All of a sudden, we had this portability. All of a sudden, we had this access. All of a sudden, we had chances to do a lot of things, talk to a lot of people in a different sort of way. It was very real. If you were talking about cooking, it smelled great. We still have smartphones today. Us older folks, I'm talking about Hannah, because I certainly don't fall in that category, haven't quite adjusted to full use of the smartphone, but she's working on it. Now, if you follow down, about another 10 years, we get away from things to events. And I think you all know what I'm talking about. 9/11. It changed everything. It brought the US into the real world. Prior to that, we saw ourselves as an island, protected by a couple of oceans, the Canadians to the north and the Mexicans to the south. This was our first touch of terrorism and all that stuff in America. It raised a fervor of patriotism that still exists today. Suddenly, we're the good guys in everybody's eyes, except for the terrorists. Unfortunately, it led us down some very dark paths in Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, and a multitude of other places. Finally, go ahead about another 10 years. We enter another dark period. Fall 2019. What is this virus coming out of Asia? Coronavirus, can't pronounce it. COVID-19, well, yeah, it's just one of those things that'll affect the rest of the world. Within a short period of time, a very, very short period of time, everything's infected. We were naive to believe that none of that would touch us. We're naive to believe that we can handle all this. And with great humility, we face the prospect that, no, we're just another country that has a few more bucks to throw at healthcare. Now, if you think about this segment from the internet to COVID-19, it is a 30, 40-year period, slice out of the line of mankind. It's no big deal. Don't mean to say that those aren't important things, but these things have been going along for time since its time's been recorded. And they're going to continue. What's next? I don't know. Is it another virus like the monkeypox? Probably not. But the public health people are saying they're preparing you for the fact that it's naive to believe that there won't be something else coming. In the Ukraine, we're faced with the prospect of an ever widening war. They use the word nuclear event. This is scary. This is not a conversation that we've had seriously for many, many years. Where is it going? I don't know, but it is scary. One of the other things they're talking about is famine, because the Ukraine is a great provider of grains and other things, particularly to third world countries. Now, nobody in this room is going to go hungry because of something that happens in terms of the food from the Ukraine. But there are an awful lot of people in third world that will die. It's as simple as that. Will there be new devices? Will there be a new smartphone? No, conceptually, there needs to be something else. But I bet in some of your lifetimes, somebody will be standing on the planet Mars. Yeah, we're going to Mars. I didn't think that was possible, but Elon Musk seems to think he can get us there, and he seems to be able to pull this stuff off. So there are going to be changes. What does this have to do with Toastmasters? Toastmasters is just kind of a speck that goes along. But we've been part of this since the internet. We've been part of this since the birth of the smartphone. We've been part of this since 9/11. We've been part of this since COVID. We have a Zoom meeting here that in part is a product of COVID. What's going to happen in the future? I don't know. I would say this: embrace the great stuff and try to control the bad stuff. Mr. Toastmaster.